Hello, my friends. Welcome. I think today is June something. June 3rd, maybe? I think this is Flosstube 22. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. My name is Holly, and this is my channel, mostly about cross stitch, but I do knit, and I do quilt, and I don't know, do I do other things? I don't know, but welcome. If you're returning, I really appreciate you. And if you're just stopping by or are new, welcome. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you'll enjoy it and be back. How have you all been? It's been about 3 weeks. It's been a busy 3 weeks, but I'll give you life updates later or mixed in because that's kind of how I do it sometimes. But I don't know if I've done a lot of stitching because I don't know if I'm coming and going, but we can wade through this and see what you think. The first thing I have to show you is a finish. You may have seen this on my Instagram, but I finished. I just realized I don't have the chart to show you because I'm loaning it to a friend, but this is Kathy Barrick from Velvet to Linen, and it was a market release. I stitched it on Legacy Fiber Arts Dunes at Dusk with the called for NPI silk, and I could not love it more. Isn't it fantastic? I think it is. I'm trying to decide how I want to frame it. And I'll probably wait until I have Peacock, Unicorn, and Badger finished because I think they're going to go on a wall together and I want them to be framed similarly. But I can't remember if I've said this to you all. My girls have told, I have 4 daughters, and my girls have been showing me things that are like matted now, and large mats with smaller pieces, and I kind of like that idea with this. So I may have it matted, I don't know, but it's gonna be a long time before I have Peacock, Unicorn, Badger finished, so I have time to think about it. That's my finish. I'm so excited. I started it as soon as I got it at aftermarket, so I started it in March, and I finished it a few weeks ago. Hey, I should have brought it down. Maybe I'll go get it. But remember I told you last time about the denim jacket that I wanted to do? As soon as I stopped filming last time, 3 weeks ago, I thought, I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, mental note, go get that before I finish. Maybe that'll be my one more thing today. Otherwise, I stitch when I can. I knit when I can. My primary responsibility right now is helping my daughter who had ankle replacement 2.5 weeks ago, getting close to 3 weeks ago. And she has a very active 19-month-old and a medically complex and disabled 4-year-old. So we've been super busy with that, but my downtime relaxation is my making. So here we go. I'm going to show you. Let's see, I have a couple of starts to show you. Nothing is ironed, nothing is pressed. Be warned. The first one is The Lord is My Shepherd by Violets and Verses. And I saw this at market and thought, that is really pretty. And then not long after that, we went to visit our kids in Indianapolis. And that son-in-law is a pastor, and for the first time in 11 years, he has an office. They just did a building renovation and add-on, and he has an office. And there's a lot of really pretty green in his office, and I thought this would be really pretty. And he loves, he would love for me to make him something. So I talked to my daughter to get approval, because again, daughters, that's what we do. Oh, here's my board. So this has really been my focus piece over the past few weeks. It's so wrinkly, I'm sorry. But this is what it's looking like. Now, I will tell you that as I was stitching, I thought something's not right. So I contacted Jennifer with Violets and Verses. If you are stitching this, there is an error in the chart, and it's a color error. So if you notice, part of this urn or vase and this roof looks different than it does on the chart. It's very dark on the chart. Also, the wording is charted for it. The chart says moss, gentle General Arts Moss. But what it should be is General Arts Onyx, and I'm going to show you the difference. So this is Onyx, and that makes sense. This is Moss, and you can see it's very variegated with a lot of really light and dark in it. So I think I'm going to rip out and redo. I'm definitely going to redo the urn. The roof I may leave alone. I'm still trying to decide. I figure I'm just going to continue stitching and then I'll decide as I go. I'm also considering only stitching the top and bottom border instead of adding the sides. But again, I'll decide that as I go. Any thoughts on that? So I think this will be really pretty in his office. I'm stitching it on Cloister Cream by Lakeside Linen 38 count, and I'm using the floss recipe, as my friend Heidi in Whips and Kits calls it. I will tell you, I don't know if you can see, it's this linen, it's like 5 o'clock and I have sunlight coming in from this direction, so I don't know how true to color things are gonna be, but it's almost like an oatmeal-y textured linen. So I love the look of the linen for it. I can't even get it to show you right. But it's kind of difficult to stitch on. I feel like it's maybe tight or coarse. So I am having some fraying of my floss, but as I stitched, when I started, I thought, oh, maybe I want to change it. But I like the look of the linen so much that I continued. It just seems what this piece needs. So that is one new start. Then I am part of the Queen City Sampler Guild, and the guild is a very active guild, and it's great for those who don't live in the Cincinnati area. Cincinnati is called the Queen City, hence the name, and it's the 40th anniversary this year of the guild, and the marvelous Ellen Chester founded it 40 years ago, and she's still very active in it. They do a lot of online and Zoom options, which is great because their meetings are probably almost an hour from me, and I don't get out much, so Zoom things are terrific. But they were having an in-person stitch-in at the mill at Shelley, the antique needleworker's house, and it was open to the first 25 people, and so I quickly signed up for that because you all have seen Shelley's videos of the mill, and I really wanted to see it in person. And I'm going to tell you, the videos do not do it justice. The tour, oh my word, it was a perfect day. And I'm going to say today, it's been cold here in Dayton, Ohio, but today is 86 and it feels like it's 89. I feel like summer hit. But that day was, I don't know, maybe 72 and breezy, and oh, it was just beautiful. And the grounds at Shelley's house are so beautiful. Shelley, of course, was a gracious host, and we were at the mill. We had lunch there. Shelley had delicious treats for us. I'm gonna show you two things. Maybe. I'm gonna flash it really quick. Shelley was so sweet and designed a little chart for us. It's about friendship. Let me see if I can show you quickly. About friendship. It says friend. She showed us all of her unframed pieces. I thought that box was never going to end, in a good way, of beautiful, beautiful pieces. And then we all went into her home to see all of her framed antique samplers all over her office walls. Just fantastic. It was a perfect day. My daughter had her ankle replacement surgery a few days before, and so I was kind of iffy if I was going to get to go, and my son-in-law and my husband said, we've got this, go. And so I did, and it was a beautiful drive out there. Shelley lives about an hour from me. It was just a perfect day. My friend Kia was there. My friend Karen, the recovering monogamous stitcher, was there. Look what Karen did. Maybe I talked about it on Flosstube, about a piece that I wasn't going to finish, and Karen mentioned in a comment that she would like to have it. So I brought it to her that day, and as a thank you, Karen made me a project bag. And she gives them away on her channel sometimes, and I'm always saying, me please. But it's just a beautiful bag. I love this kind of bag. Oh, look, and it has her tag inside it. But it's just the right amount of squish for me. It's very similar in squish to Crosshatch Quilt Christie's bag. I don't know, something about those feels. It's like a quilt. It's cozy. Okay, she was there. Kia B, my friend, was there. And so that was fun. Kia and I had 2 starts that we did together that day. So many other really lovely people. Oh, Sweet Anne made everyone there a little floss tag with a sheep on it, and it is on one of my pieces, on one of my bags. We'll see if I come across it. Okay, so this is, oh, there's a needle right there in the bag. You see it? I'm kind of messy with my things. This is a bag I made. I think I showed it last time. And I used the panel, which is no longer available, from Hands Across the Sea, but she has a marvelous Facebook group, and she offers special bonuses, free charts sometimes, early access to things. It's called Friends of Hands Across the Sea. I highly recommend you get in that group. That is how I got that panel. But Kia and I got a start on Queen of the May, Elizabeth Stevenson. Very beautiful. I'm seeing lots of people working on it, and my start is a very minuscule start, but it is a start. I'm using the Tabby Cat. I think it's just the ticket. This is all I have done, but I didn't want to put it down, but I wanted to get a couple other starts that day. So I did that, and I pulled my own floss conversion using primarily Cosmo floss. I have a full set of Cosmo, and I'm always looking for a chance to use it, and sometimes I forget. Look at those colors. So I pulled Cosmo, and there was one Cosmo I didn't have, so I think this is a color and cotton. So I hope to get more done on that soon. And then the second thing I started, I think I came home and started The Lord is My Shepherd that same night. I didn't get it started there, but Kia had gifted me this. And so I started one and she started the other. This is Catherine Reese by 1897 Schoolhouse Sampler, and she got this whole kit from Evertote. So it has the Roxy floss, and linen. I think I started this one and Kia started this one. Now, I'll know more when I get mine out to tell you, unless the borders are the same, then I could be in trouble. But this is Dirty Porcelain 46 count, and that's my little tiny start. But again, I was so enjoying it and didn't want to put it down. But first of all, you're talking at these kind of things. Oh, I didn't start, I think I started at 10, and I don't think I sat down and got my things together until probably 1 or 1:30. But these are the Roxy Floss Co. flosses that go with it. And I think there's enough to do both. And we think there's enough linen to do both, especially since this is the 46 count. But that is, I guess, my third start since I last saw you. I put a little bit of time in Peacock Unicorn Badger. I have said it right every time I've said it, haven't I? Because you know I never say it correctly. But this is a chart by A Scarlet Letter. This is what it looks like. And here is mine. What I've accomplished since I last showed you was this flower, and I loved every single stitch. This is called Pub Crawl by Roxy Floss Co., the linen is, and this is a full coverage piece. I'm using the DMC floss, and this background is stitched. Every one of those is stitched. And I decided I would never get this done if I was going to do it full coverage. So they dyed this fabric, which matches the DMC color that is called for so perfectly. Oh, look at it. Just look at the contrast of those colors. It makes me so happy. my core Stitchy friend group, I don't think they understand my obsession about this. And my best friend Tam came here because our nephew in common, I've told you that her baby sister, Andrea, is married to my baby brother. So our nephew graduated a few weeks ago and Tammy came and she got to come to my house, my new house, because she hadn't been here. And I showed her this and I was like, don't you love this? I still don't know if she loves it as much as she should, but I do. So I got a little bit more done on that. My friend Sue is also working on it. She's doing the whole thing. I believe Sharon is working on it. I know Tiger Lily Carrie is working on it. Carrie is fast. She has a lot done and she just started it. Mine's been going for a long time. These are my DMCs. They're a mess, but those are the colors. Okay, so I got some work done on that. And then I'll just tell you, we've had a rough week around here. It's been a rough week. And I just needed comfort stitching a couple of the nights. And I decided, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but my favorite comfort stitching is specialty stitching. This was presented by Jeanette Douglas. This is called Specialty Stitches a la 1838 by LH. This was given to us at Sampler Symposium at the Attic. And when we got it, I was like, that's great, but I'm never gonna stitch that. But Sean, the Periwinkle Stitcher, started it and inspired me to start it a few months ago. Also, Karen, the Monogamous Stitcher, has started it since then. But this is so comforting to stitch, I think, because once you get the hang of whatever the square is, you're just repeating it over and over. So since I last spoke to you, I have done this square and this square. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, this isn't doing it justice at all. There's a purple and a green in this one. And it makes me so happy. The initial setup of like counting can be a little bit tricky, but once you have the rhythm of it, it is great. I often, depending on my energy level, I can get a whole square done in an evening. I think both of these took me 2 evenings, but like I said, extenuating circumstances the past week. And I am using the NPIs that, look at this, the NPIs that we were given at the Attic. And it is a delight and a joy. Can I tell you about my week? So Julia had her ankle replacement. It's going great. She had her first ankle replaced in November, like the day before Thanksgiving. And that one was tough. The nerve block worked better this time. So, oh wait, I have one more whip to show you. So she's been without very much pain this time. And so that's terrific. She's non-weight bearing still. She can only really be in the bed or the couch. That's it. And so we've been chasing 19-month-old Ruby and loving on sweet 4-year-old Graham. Well, last Monday, Ruby started getting snotty. Sorry if that's gross to anybody, but grandmother and mom here, it is what it is. And then she started running a fever. Well, if you've followed along, you know that Graham, he's not immune compromised anymore, but an illness is going to make him really sick and it's probably going to put him in the hospital. So we brought Ruby home with us and she stayed with us overnight and all day for 2 nights. And then by Wednesday, Graham was showing signs of illness. So we were like, okay, fine. So we took her back home. My husband got it and my son-in-law got it. This may be sounding familiar because, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, the same thing happened, that Ruby got sick, Graham got sick, we all got sick. Graham was in the hospital for 2 weeks after it. He was so sick on Wednesday. So we were on hospital watch. I had my bag packed. My son-in-law had his bag packed. Mama's laid up and can't go. But he turned the corner and did great. Well, let's see. That day, also, we discovered somebody had left their deep freezer door open. And have you ever had that happen? It is so awful when it happens. So I went out and sorted through things, but compounding that, she blends all of his food that goes into his G-tube. He doesn't eat by mouth. He's fed by G-tube, which is a little button in his stomach. And she home blends. I mean, the macros and calories and fluid is all calculated meticulously. It is a big deal. And she's super organized. So their freezer is full of all the ingredients that go in his feeds. Almost all of that was lost. It was a really bad day. So, okay, we take care of all that. His wonderful home care nurses, one of them helps with blending. And so she kicked in and started doing blends, and I helped, and she stayed longer that day. So the next day, we're putting our pieces back together, and I pick up Ruby and yelped because something happened in my back, my low back. And so I was then down in my low back. So Michael and Steve were pretty sick. Julia is laid up. I've now injured my back. Zero fun. Again, wonderful home care nurse, different one than the day before, was so helpful, helping me as much as she could with Ruby, like getting her in the crib and that kind of stuff. And my husband, anyways, the next day, Friday, Julia starts running a very high fever. And again, she just had surgery. Her incision looked good, so we didn't think it was that. The next day, higher fever. The next day, still high fever. So she ended up going to the ER. Turns out it was a UTI, which is the best news possible. But day 4, she was still running a fever, and her PCP was saying if day 5 she's running a fever, they're going to have to admit her for IV antibiotics. All that to say, today is that day, and she is much better today. But we've had a week. It's been not very much fun around here, but it's okay. We're here. We have each other. Graham did not need to go in the hospital, and there is an end in sight once she is able to be back up on her feet, which will be a while. I think she starts PT on Thursday, and they usually start with she can put 20% of weight on her foot, which is helpful, but it doesn't help you in taking care of your little kids. So remember I said I was pretty much clearing my schedule to help with them this summer, so that's what's happening. Okay, my last piece I worked on. I did a little bit of work on Jessie Challenor. This is an exclusive at the Attic by Hands Across the Sea. You can still get this. You have 2 options. This is what the front of the sampler looks like, the antique sampler that they charted. And when they took it out of the frame, this is what the back looks like. So this is what the original floss colors were that Jessie chose. Now I chose the more muted colors, and I'm loving it. Let me find my board for you. Again, wrinkles. That is my MO right now. But this is how Jessie is looking. So I am using the the 103 silk floss. It's not as dark as it's looking in this light. Icky light, I'm sorry. And so I've made progress. I've come down on my borders a little bit, but I was watching Debbie and Kef from Snug Harbor Crafts. I love Debbie and Kef. They're hilarious. I got to meet Debbie at the Attic, and I love her. Debbie was saying that Katie Strachan has talked about, she added some colors to this, and I must have missed that episode of Katie Strachan for the branch that this bird is going to sit upon. And I'll show you. She said it kind of, once you see it, you can't unsee it, that it just kind of looks like a hot dog. And so Katie added some browns to change it up a little bit. Well, I don't particularly want to buy more NPIs. So this is some purchases that just arrived today. Abby Topknot Stitcher, she has an L&S, you can look her up. She was having a sale on Classic Color Works Belsois. And this is a silk, but it's an overdyed silk. And so I bought some colors and thought, surely I can come up with enough browns. Let me see what I have here. Well, here are a couple of browns. And others variegated silks from my floss that maybe I can do it myself. I need to go watch the Katie Strachan and take a closer look at her. She did a model stitch for the Attic, but these were all, they may still be on sale, I'm not sure, from Abby Topknot. They're so nice. So contemplating that, and I haven't had the mental capacity to really work on it, plus I was waiting for those, so I've just been working on the border. And then while I think about it, I can also start it's gonna be a mirror image of this and this on this side, so I could also put some work into that. I think I was so thrilled and relieved when these two things were finished that it seems a little bit overwhelming to start that, but it must be done, so I might work on that. Okay, that is what I have been stitching. Hey, you want to see another finish that's not by me? So my daughter Julia, I would say all of my girls are pretty crafty, pretty talented. And I think I bought this kit maybe on a Destach because we have a deep love of Winnie the Pooh in our family, especially my grandson Graham. That's Baxter. Grandson Graham is very comforted by Winnie the Pooh song. And so I found this on a Destach and I gave it to Julia. And so this has been her kind of hospital piece, and when she's been laid up with her recovery, and she finished it. So she sent it home with me to finish, fully finish. And I have not done that yet, but I think I might make maybe a stand. Is it too big to make a stand up? Kathy Walker, what do you think? So I'm either gonna make a pillow or a stand up out of it. I just haven't yet, but I was so proud of her. One of my girls, Lindsay, has taken up embroidery. Have you seen sweatshirts that have name embroidered on them? She's so good at that. So she's been doing that. You might follow my Pop of Color daughter, Alyssa, on Instagram. And my daughter, Emily, has crocheted a little bit. She's a pretty busy mom of 4, so she doesn't have quite as much time for that. I got to see those kids. Memorial Day weekend, Emily, who lives in Cleveland, drove her family to Lindsay's in Indianapolis for the weekend. That's the majority of my grandkids. That's 7 of my grandkids, and they adore each other. And so husband and I drove over for a day and got to play with grandkids. And it was so nice. We went out to eat at a newer place in Fishers, Indiana called Cava. If you have one near you, it's delicious. But I was looking, Steve and I were sitting at the end, and then like our 4 adult, daughters and son-in-laws, and then the 7 grandkids. And I looked down and I said to him, look at our heritage down there. Just look at, I just love them all. Oh, they're just good. So I got to see them. Okay, what else do I want to tell you? Oh, guess what I did on Sunday? I know you all watch Sarah Stitchy Spot. And if you don't, why? Because Sarah is the most kind, delightful person. And I love watching her Flosstubes. Hi, Sarah. She does a monthly Zoom, and to be in that Zoom, you follow her instructions, but many times you just comment Zoom somewhere in your comment on her Flosstube. And I've always wanted to do it, and I was chosen in her random comment picker. And so Sunday was that Zoom. She also has a surprise guest Flosstuber, and unbeknownst to me, I was also the guest Flosstuber on her Zoom. But she does it so well. First of all, Sarah's had a harder week than I've had with her husband, Stan, has been in the hospital, and you can follow her for information. I won't divulge all their information, but Sarah's had a tough week, and so I kept thinking, I wonder if she's gonna cancel. I would totally understand, but she didn't. And so how she does it is, whoever her featured Flosstube person, she highlights on a Zoom first, and they kind of talk about what they're stitching and where they're from and a little bit about themselves. And then each person, and there's usually 10 in the Zoom, she highlights them and they do the same. And it was so nice because there were a couple people who had either a stitchy question or a stitchy problem, and the 10 of us kind of discussed how we would do it or ideas, and it was really enjoyable. I think it was about an hour and a half. So if that's something that you would like to do, watch Sarah's Stitchy Spot and try to get involved in her Zoom. Okay, that was another thing I did. Hey, let's talk about this. Last time, I was giving away a previously stitched piece. This is a hands-on design. It's called Let's Talk Spring. And I stitched it, aw. I have a library card in the back of it, and I probably will send it along too. So I had you comment spring if you would be interested in this, because I said it just doesn't really go with my decor. I didn't really put it out this year or last year, and that means it's time to pass it along to somebody who might love it. So Leslie Gray 2949, you are the recipient with the random comment picker for this. Can I tell you something that maybe it's personal, I don't know, but these library cards, I believe my friend Tam gave me these, that they're actual library cards, but Lori Holt sells them. Not even sure what I've written. I wrote the name of the chart, that I stitched it, when I stitched it, and the designer, and then I said this was stitched while sitting in CHMC, which is Cincinnati Children's Hospital, CICU with Graham. The white tape is medical tape that I grabbed from his cart drawer to stop the Ada from fraying. Stitching kept my hands busy to help calm my mind during his 4-month stay. I framed it on 4/6, and when I wrote this, he was now 1 year old. This is the medical tape I was talking about on the bag. So it's a special piece, and Leslie, I hope you enjoy it. I would like to give a duplicate this time. This is by the Artsy Housewife, and it's called A Study in Pink. I bought it twice. The second time this was the first time I bought it, was just the chart. And then Rachel from Treehouse Fiber Arts was having a sale, and hers is kitted with the floss. And I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and buy it again, and I'll give somebody this copy. So if you would like to receive this, please use the word pink in your comments. Please don't use giveaway or prize or anything like that. I would really appreciate it if you're a subscriber. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead, just hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, etc. But A Study in Pink is what I will be passing along to someone this time. Oh, can I show you my knitting? I hope you say yes, because I'm going to. I have a finish. Let me pull up some things here. Pardon me one moment while I get things off the floor. I think I showed you the last time that I was stitching Crumpled Sock Pattern by Kay Jones. And I can tell you, Bakery Bears is the name. She has a Flosstube, and she's on Instagram as Bakery Bears. I had taken one of them off the blocker, and then I was like, wait, I'm gonna show them before I do. So this is what I did, the Crumpled Sock Pattern. Can you see the pattern? It was really fun. And I have only done vanilla socks up to this point. And so I was a little bit nervous, but it was really easy. And once I got the hang of it, I even could keep track of where I was when I had to put it down, etc. I used a different heel. I used Shelly's magic heel, basically, which is a garter heel. And Shelly eventually is going to film a video, but in the meantime, you can find a YouTube video on it as well. But I like Shelly's method a lot. And this is the pattern that has the the umbrella toe. I don't know if you can see much on it here. Let me see if you can see it on this one better. The umbrella toe, the way it's designed and the way the decreases are, it's my favorite. When I started doing this, because my friend Sue, Legacy Fiber Arts, Knit 24, started talking about it, and that's why I bought this pattern, not knowing if I would ever do the actual crunkled part, but now I have, and now I'm hooked. This yarn is Legacy Fiber Arts, and it's one of the Schitt's Creek colorways. Was it the first one, Sue? Maybe January, but they're finished. I finished a sock for my husband. I made him a pair early on in my knitting. I think I started knitting a year ago this summer. I started knitting socks. I was determined to make socks. And his pair that I made him was one of my beginner ones, and one is really big, and so he has to pull it up a lot. So I'm making new socks for him. This is just a vanilla sock with the umbrella toe and a garter heel. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe both this yarn and this yarn was from Sue's summer sale that she and Chelsea do every year. That's just like mist dyes or over dyes, etc. And they've already done it this year. I don't know how often they do it, but they've already done it. And I cast on and have my second sock going. I find that knitting is much more portable, and I don't lose track of where I am. I don't need magnifier. So I've been taking this, I call them the neighbors, because Ruby and Graham, my daughter Julia with the ankle replacement, my son-in-law Michael, live right behind us. And so when I go to the neighbors every day, I take this for nap time knitting. Okay, last knitting thing I want to show you. This is I'm so hard on my patterns. I should put it in a protective sleeve. This is Petite Knit No Frill Sweater. And I started it before, this was the first sweater I started. And then I took that class to knit a sweater, the one I wore last time, and I finished that and I learned so much that I thought, okay, now I'm embarrassed about this one. So I ripped it out. Thank you to all those who told me to put the put my project in the freezer because there's mohair and fingering weight in here that you have to separate. So freezer helped. I hear my husband up there coughing. I'm so sorry if you can hear him. He's still getting over the crud that the kids have had. Anyway, I restarted it. I think I'm back to where I was when I started ripping it out. But the collar is finished, and those are my raglan stitches, which look so much better now. And so this is Legacy Fiber Art, Lavender Fields. Sorry, that's in fingering weight, and Legacy Fiber Art's mohair. And this is what it looks like before I mix it with the mohair when I hold two strands together, and it just kind of mutes it a little bit when you add the mohair. So I'm pretty excited about that. I know it's 89 degrees, but I'm determined to get this sweater finished. And then I would really like to start a blanket. I've crocheted blankets or Afghans, but I have not knit one. And so the two that are in the running, and funny enough, I had told Sue that I was trying to decide between the two. And then as I really looked at them more, I realized they're very different. This is Sweet Shop Blanket, which Chelsea, Legacy Fiber Art, just finished a beautiful one of these. It is by Laura Penrose. This calls for DK weight yarn. And what I discovered when I was trying to decide is this other one I was considering is fingering weight. This is called the 100 Acre Blanket. And I've already told you about our love for Pooh in this family. This is also by Kay Jones Bakery Bears, and it's it just started, I think maybe it was released today in her Patreon. But doesn't it kind of look like a Winnie the Pooh 100 Acre Wood find? So now I have to decide which. I have, this one's for scraps, and I have a lot more scraps of fingering weight. So maybe this should be the one I start. I also have last year's Advent sock set from Sue in fingering weight. But I've been buying a lot of DK because I want to do this. Decisions, right? We'll see what I do. Okay. Oh, can I show you one more thing? Family-wise, I love mail. I love mail. And so anytime I get mail, it's exciting. You all have been sending me mail, but look, I got a letter from my granddaughter, Penny. That's a rocket ship from my house to her house. And she even wrote me a riddle that I have to turn upside down to be able to read the answer. This is going in my Keep It Forever box. Okay, speaking of other mail things, I'm going to show you. You hear us cough? I've talked about this before, that if anybody has time or spare stash that they would like to make blankets for Cincinnati Children's, we collect them and take them because they use them instead of Chuck's pads in the ICUs. So the pediatric ICU, which is PICU, and the cardiac ICU, which is CICU. I can't remember if I showed you these last time, and maybe I did, but they're still in my Flosstube basket of things to show you. I'm pretty sure I did. Jackie, Red Girl Quilt, did I show you what she sent? I think I did because I talked about my love for Art Gallery fabrics, and I did not know that Art Gallery had flannels. Oh, they're fantastic. So I need to take those to Julia's house because that's where we store them. And then these are, I don't know who they're from. Yes, I do. Laura Page. Is that who they're from? Yes, Laura Page. And she sent a nice note to go along with them. But look how sweet these are for the cardiac ICU or the pediatric, or the PICU. So thank you. Wait a minute. Did these come? Oh, I confused myself. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna grab something. And then two sweet people. One of these might have sent me quilts too. Like I said, it's been hectic. Betsy sent me stash to pass along. And Betsy sent really good stuff that I'm going to decide what I want to stitch and what I'm going to pass along. But there are beautiful shepherd's bush things in here. Look at these. Thank you, Betsy. And she sent a bunch of linen. Look at all of this. So when I go back to sending out a project bag to a winner, I'll be asking if you want linen or Ada, and I'll add some things in there for you. And then Kathy Pooler sent me a package of all of these vintage and older, well, I can't get them all out, but charts and magazines. So I'll get to pass those along. I sat on my deck and just flipped through them when they arrived. Loved it. It was very fun. Thank you, girls. Okay, now I gotta get stuff out of the way so I can keep showing you things. Back in there. Okay, purchases that have arrived. I got my Dying to Stitch Club piece and kit. I guess it's a kit then. And mine was delayed. There was a problem with the mail, so it was delayed, but it arrived. Isn't that beautiful? This is by Sampler Bird Stitchery, and sorry, it's so crinkly. It comes with the floss and linen. I know it's an R&R linen. And then I was chatting with Anne via DM in Instagram when I was looking for the Flamingo Gloriana silk, and she suggested the Cotswold pink. Isn't that pretty? So I said, sure, add that on. Then I ordered from, I was gonna learn how to say it. I think it's, somebody told me in the comments, it's pronounced Sudidi. I ordered from this. And my order came. But look what I ordered. Isn't that beautiful? We're saying ABCs a lot, but that's like an elegant ABC around here. Man-hour sampler, maybe is what it's called. You see that? And I got Simone Smalls, which I have seen stitched, and I hadn't really seen it available anywhere. Look at those. So I got this. It's a nice thick book, really pretty pictures in it, which is similar to her red sampler book that came out at Market. And then I got, I think it's called Marty's Purse. Look at those. Okay, so I got that. If you are ever looking for Lakeside Linen, if you go to Traditional Stitches, which is in Canada, and you place an order, they don't charge you until they ship your order. So they get shipments of Lakeside in. They don't have it in stock necessarily, but when they get shipments in and you've ordered, then they contact you and ask if you want it, and then they send a PayPal request. So I've been getting Lakeside from them that way. So I just got this, which is a 46 count vintage buttercream. And then speaking of Lakeside, do you, and if you don't, you should, follow Half Pone Stitchers on Instagram. Their aesthetic is so beautiful. A lot of neutrals, creams, tans. They're two sisters, and they just stitch and curate beautiful things in their photos. I want to be them. Well, they were having a destash. And so neutrals, creams, tans. They're two sisters, and they just stitch and curate beautiful things in their photos. I want to be them. Well, they were having a destash. And so I was driving when they were destashing, so I was trying to be quick, but I'm ashamed to say that. Please forgive me for that. But look what I got. I got a big hunk of vintage buttercream in 40 count Lakeside. I had been wanting the dirty soil that things have been stitched on, I think. Kitten Stitcher. Shakespeare's Peddler has done a couple of charts on this. So I got some 40 count dirty soil, and then I got some Lakeside vintage maple sugar in the Destach. Oh, that looks more mottled than it is. It's really not. How can I show you? Man, I thought this would be better lighting, but in fact it's not. And then I had not seen this, and I love modern folk embroidery, and they were destashing this, and so I purchased this. There's the name of it. Isn't that beautiful? I got those. I think I told you that I was watching Carolyn at the attic, and I can't remember who was on with her, but they were talking about the Samplers Not Forgotten kits, and I stopped the video and called them and ordered these. And so I just got the Posy basket kit, and it comes with everything you need. And I've made one of them, and it was really fun to stitch and then quick to finish. I got the Rose Bouquet kit with everything you need, and I got the Peony Bouquet kit with everything you need. So those came. What's in there? I already showed you that. I did, okay, on to quilting. I did a fabric swap. I've seen 2 of these done lately, and this was by Sabrina. Oh, I can't think of the Instagram account name. It'll come to me. But I sent in 4 yards of low volume fabric cut into 5-inch squares, and I paid a fee for her time. I think it was like $4 per yard that I sent, and then I paid for shipping back to me, and I got this in return. So these are, you know, I've told you about my love for I Spy quilts and my I Spy fabric collection, especially in low volume, because Woodbury Way does them in low volume. And so, can you see? Look at those. Look at the piggies. Oh, that was really cute with the Fisher Price toys. There was some yarn, but I had talked to Sabrina. She asked me if there was anything in particular I was looking for, and we had talked before, and I said I'm always looking for fabric that picture inclusive children. So inclusive in all the ways, especially disability. And I cannot remember who the maker of this is. You can tell I can't remember things today, but look, she had some of this. I love it so much. That's like my grand boy. That one and this one. So I'm very excited about those, especially the quilts for my own grandchildren. I always try to put one of these in to represent Graham. Oh, and this is a color and cotton and steel with the soda bottles. Okay, so that was very fun. Also, she was just doing a regular fabric destash, and I got this Tasha Noel piece, and it's a panel, but I thought these would be really cute cut into 5-inch squares to add to my I Spy quilts, and then this would be cute binding. Somebody, maybe Shelly. Oh, somebody on Flosstube. She talked about this Brenda Key's book, and I found it on Amazon, and I ordered it, and it has some beautiful things in here, and it has some tips on finishing, on lacing and framing, and on specialty stitches, and then just some small pieces and some nursery pieces. And so this was handy. I think I checked and it was printed in 1998. So I'm adding this to my book collection. And then yarn. I've gotten beautiful things. Well, I'm gonna show you some of these. as I've told you, my friend Sue is the dyer for Legacy Fiber Arts, and her daughter Chelsea and she own the company together. But I just got this, I think it's called Uva. You know, A Man Called Uva, the book. I thought those were fantastic colors for socks. This one is called Portal, and I love purples, and that has fun purples in it. But Sue and Chelsea have offered this mini set of DKs. This one, these are kind of new in the last month or so. This one is spring. It's called Four Seasons. And look at all these DK minis in here. And this one is summer. And you can get it all the time. And they're going to be adding, what am I missing? Fall and winter. But I thought these would be really cool in my sweet shop blanket. And then I already showed you my socks that I made with it, but I am in the monthly Schitt's Creek colorway club, and you can order it in a variety of sock weights, but this one is a micro sock set, and it's called Cafe Tropical. I don't know if you can see, it's showing up brighter than it is. It's more muted than this. And then I got a DK mini to add to my blanket. I think I've shown you everything on my table and on the floor all around me. Can't remember if there's anything else I'm supposed to tell you or that I want to tell you. It'll come to me later. But I hope that you're stitching or knitting or quilting or doing something wonderful in a creative way that makes you happy and brings you joy. And I hope that you'll remember that every day we're given is a gift, and that you'll love people really well. I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, see, I did have one more thing. This is my jean jacket that I added that vintage embroidery piece to. And the jacket is from Walmart. I think it's $22. And this is the piece. You may remember that it was kind of a square quilt piece. And so what I did is the Lori Holt method, that I stitched it right sides together on with another piece of fabric, and then I cut a hole in the back and I turned it, and then I just did a ladder stitch on my machine around it. And a couple of you had great ideas, but I had already finished it by the time I got it. Someone suggested I go in and add some quilting here, and I may, just to give it some more stability, but so far so good. I've worn it once and I love it, and I hope to do more of this kind of thing again. I talked about Sarah's Stitchy Spot, Sweet Sarah. She and Stitching Bunny, Judy, have, I don't think it's the same birthday, but birthdays that are just a couple days apart. And last year I said, hey, my birthday's in there too, which is coming up. It's my birthday month. And I believe she said Marcy also contacted her. So Judy and Sarah had decided to stitch A Daily Reminder by Brenda Gervais as their birthday start. And they kindly included me. So the birthdays are at the end of June. I have not heard Sarah say when we're starting, but the four of us are going to try to Zoom together about it. But we would love anybody else who has not yet stitched A Daily Reminder to stitch it with us. Okay, that's what it really looks like. Now, the called for fabric is Cedar River Arboreal, which is this, which is kind of a green, but I really think that looks more brown on the photo, and I kind of want it to look like the photo. I saw the model piece at market and it was beautiful, but I kind of want it to be something else. So here are some fabrics I'm auditioning. Cedar River Coffee Stain, R&R Mink. I have a big old hunk of that. I don't know if you can tell. And Fox and Rabbit Mudslide, which these two look similar. Okay, this is terrible, but I'm gonna just turn. I can't turn it around while I'm filming, but here, can you see that? So those are my choices I'm choosing right now. And this is what the picture looks like, which is kind of leaning towards some of these, but I pulled the flosses and I happen to have everything. Aren't they messy? But I think it looks good on everything. So all that to say, this is going to be a start this month if you haven't done it yet and you want to stitch it with us, do it for our birthdays. If I told you I love my birthday and my birthday month, and it's June. It's now. Okay, that's all for real this time. Goodbye.